Sugar at the international market has been going through the roof, and the reason why is because there's an expectation of a deficit this year, about 5 million tons deficit, and for that reason we're seeing sugar prices in the international market going up. And if you're looking at sugar production in Nigeria, I mean, it's the news recently, I think in 2015 we produced just about 15,000 tons when demand is about 1.1 million tons. So you can see that gap. It's a couple of 100,000. It's actually a lot, and so for that reason we have to import sugar, obviously. But what we've seen in the market is that what the government has tried to do is introduce a sugar master plan, and we're trying to ensure that our production gets towards 1.7 million tons by 2020.
I remember the National Sugar Master Plan during the last administration. I guess I was there at the launch of that program.
Yes.
But maybe we should just start adding honey into our cup of tea rather than sugar.
Well, if you're looking at our diet, if you're looking at the middle class as well as the young population, we're shifting towards Western diet, and most of Western diet is sugar-based. You don't really see the Western, you don't really see most of the foods being produced by the Western guys using honey. Most likely use sugar, and for that reason, I mean, food and beverages, they are the largest consumers of sugar in the market.
How did we become a consumer of Western diets? How did we get here?
I guess it's all about global integration. I mean, once you integrate, you have,
a global village.
Yes.
And that looks like it's hurting us.
Yes, it is.
It's hurting our purse and it's hurting our health.
It is.
Okoyemi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's just leave it there and talk about something else some other day. But it's looking really like a happy one.
No,
but thanks for bringing the figures together and putting them through to us. Okoyemi Okocha, the Senior Investment Officer at Financial Derivatives Company. Okay, let's talk about something not as tasty as well. Nigeria's NNPC, that's the State Oil Corporation, reported yesterday 26.51 billion as a deficit for the month of July. 274 million naira was what was reported as surplus in the month of May. The reasons were simple. NNPC says the PPMC, that's this agency responsible for petrol, product sales was down 13.30%. Vandals, 261 vandalized points in just 1 month. In other words, you have 30 days in a month. If vandals break pipelines, 261 points. Just do the math and try to understand how many pipelines vandals were done on a single day in just 30 days. Things are really, really bad. As far as crude oil export is concerned, it's the same story. Focados, force majeure by Shell Petroleum, and that is also a problem in Nigeria's economic underbelly. Dolapo Oni is on the phone to us now from downtown Lagos. Dolapo is attending the Platts Petroleum Conference as a one-day conference, and is bringing some of this perspective to us. Dolapo, thank you for coming through on Skype. I thought we had an arrangement that you're going to be speaking on phone. What has changed?
Yes, office. So I was called back to the office for a meeting. So
yes, because you were to be at the Platts Petroleum Conference.
Yes, I probably will join them later in the day.
Yes, so will the NNPC latest report be part of what this meeting, that conference, will be discussing? Not very good news from the State Oil Corporation for the month of June.
Well, I think throughout this conference we'll be focused on trade. So we'll be looking at both the upstream crude oil, Nigeria's crude oil trade, and we'll also be looking at flows of petroleum products into Nigeria, discussing trends in that space, what's happening. You mentioned in one of your headlines that the oil marketers are asking for higher fuel prices because of scarcity of dollars. Well, I mean, it's not really reflective in petroleum prices, which are actually dropping in the international market. So it's part of what we'll be looking at. But for the NNPC, yes, interesting results that we're seeing. Not so good, especially on the strength of what we saw last month, where the NNPC declared a positive result.
Well, we say thank you, NNPC, for bringing us up to speed, giving us the state of his affairs or his operations, as it were. But look at this, Dolapo, and how does this hit you as an energy analyst? 261 vandalized points of NNPC property or assets in just 1 month of June.
Well, yeah, it's really bad. And I mean, to really put this in perspective, if you just look at the PPMC results, that's really where you want to see where this loss is coming from. PPMC's result last month was a positive 17 million naira, about 17 billion naira. So, but it slipped from 17 billion positive to a negative 11.8 billion negative. You know, from a positive 17 to 11. So that damage was, that's the extent of that damage, you know, that happened within the month. And we noticed it again because the Niger Delta Avengers, after the peace talk wasn't successful, we had a lot more attacks, and the attacks were not as concentrated as they were previously. They were more scattered. And then we also have several other groups, smaller groups here in Lagos, on the creeks of Lagos, Ogun State, bunkering petroleum product pipelines, as well as other activities.
So, Dolapo, do you think we're winning this war against the vandals? It's really head-scratching how vandals in just 30 days can attack oil facilities in total, 261. Those folks aren't sleeping. They're not taking things easy.
At all. And it's part of what we keep saying that, look, at some point, we're going to have to take some strategic decisions regarding security of those pipelines. It's not physically possible to secure over 17,000 kilometers of pipelines, and I'm sure we have more than that now. But what I imagine would be, to some extent, would have to dedicate some personnel, boots on the ground, to actually secure those pipelines. And of course, maybe that may be the way forward, because otherwise we are susceptible to this kind of attacks.
Yes, Dolapo, you talk about the boots on the ground, using those terms. I think we need to do something like that. We'll continue this conversation some other day, Dolapo, but I think the backwaters of Lagos and Ogun State, which is a major entry point, an exit point for oil into Nigeria, will have to be policed a lot more. We need more police. Yes. On the waterways. We need more. Perhaps we need those guys, coast guards, as it were, in other advanced countries, to bring us up to speed and equip them. Thank you, Dolapo. Do enjoy your conference at Platts Petroleum Conference. We thank you for making this time to talk to us on Skype this morning. Dolapo, the head of energy research at EcoBank Group. You've heard the stories there, but let's remind you what the petrol retailer says. They're warning that pump prices could go up if current FS scarcity is not addressed immediately. We'll come back to you after the break. The conversation continues.